Yo, still Mills, what's the deal, man? I just ran all around town trying to get my McDoubles. I should have been at home. But I'm here nonetheless. So peep game, man. We gotta get into some shit. And that shit is Caleb Plant gets wild, disrespectful with some chick on Twitter. I don't know if she has a YouTube account or what. I would really like to hear her paradigm. Like, hear what her thoughts are about Caleb Plant clapping at her like that, man. But one thing people gotta remember is this. You're not safe behind a Twitter space. You're not. People just really get it fucked up. Like, you could just get online and say whatever the fuck you want to say. Oh, okay. People really get it fucked up. Like, you could just hop online and say whatever the fuck it is you want to say and expect people to be robots because you're of a certain celebrity status. That's not logical. Like, at all. What makes you think people are just robots when you get a certain once you get a few extra O's in the bank account, like you all of a sudden are supposed to be just numb to not criticism, but just complete disrespect. Complete. Do I think what she said was OD? No, I don't. But was it enough to warrant somebody to be in their feelings about, bro, you're attacking what it is that I do for a living and that what I've been doing since I was a kid and an amateur. I work hard at this. And for you to just completely disrespect me, I can't even remember exactly what it is that she said, but it wasn't nothing that was as, I was as cynical as his response. Like, he was wilding on his response. But we have to remember, what we do is not being criticized in the eye of the public. I don't get criticized in the eye of the public for my job. Because if I did, especially with me being new to my job, I feel some type of way about consistently getting criticized. I wouldn't like it. Especially how they're criticizing them, man. Constructive criticism is one thing. But when we have no, like, she just said something that was like, it was enough to trigger somebody. He should feel offended by what it is that she said. Because anybody who has a certain level of respect for what it is that they do, they feel offended by that. You really think you can just say that shit and expect not to get a rise out of me? Like, I'm just supposed to be like, oh, all right, well, that's her opinion. Opinions turn into other shit. Opinions can be real disrespectful. Opinions, nonetheless, but wow, disrespectful. And when you talk about, yo, these burgers, I was about to just eat one. I'm about to destroy the next one and go finish my Texas Roadhouse from last night. The fuck? But opinions can be real disrespectful, man. And when you get to a point, people just get real comfortable behind Twitter where half of the things, 90+% of the things that we comfortable enough to say on these spaces would not be reiterated if we was in that individual's face. Not even just from a boxer standpoint, but just in general, because it's like, people are considerate of people's feelings. Not everybody is as blunt and just cutthroat as they come off to be on social media. You dig? I don't want to hurt your feelings. I honestly don't. And that's how a lot of other people are. I don't want to hurt your feelings and get disrespectful and say some shit that's going to offend you. Because I don't want you to return the favor and say some shit to me that I might be sensitive about that you decide to pick at. But people don't take that into consideration, man. And then when they decide to finally clap back, oh, it's my opinion. Okay, cool. You can have your opinion. But a lot of motherfuckers can't handle somebody else's opinion. They just can't. They can't. You can have a constructive criticism about somebody, man. But when you say, something about his low expectation, we have a low expectation of Caleb Plant. Just something wild to where it's like, all right, bro, like, I'm not over the hill about Caleb Plant either. I'm honestly not. But I am kind of rooting for him in this fight. Just to, so we can... I want to see what David Benavidez does. And if he goes in here, he beats David Benavidez. Man, I'm super dragging that shit. But I'm just, David and his dad are kind of getting on my nerves. Not even kind of, they're getting on my nerves. And for that, I'm like, I hope he wins. But I don't have a high expectation for him neither, though. I think he's a damn good boxer. But I'm not over the hill about Caleb Plant. I'm honestly not. I'm not. I'm probably more of a critic of Wilder than I am of Caleb. Actually, I'm far more of a critic of Deontay Wilder than Caleb Plant. But it's certain shit that I'm just not going to say online, because you just never know when them athletes come across your tweets or your what you put under their Instagram comments or what you put on Facebook, and they decide that they want to put you under the spotlight. And when they put you under the spotlight, you better make sure you are very much so comfortable with yourself to where whatever it is that they decide to dig up, it doesn't bother you. You can have an opinion, but you gotta be judicious with your opinion. Be careful how you word it. Be careful how you word it. Caleb Plant is a dude who's just off the Canelo loss. After all that shit he was talking about Canelo, he's still sensitive about that and the fashion that he lost. And after it's always humble pie when you lose after talking the shit that you talked. This man went on a massive amount of interviews. I don't need a full training camp to fight Canelo Alvarez. All that shit he was saying to showbiz, just all the shit he was talking at the press conference, he was just talking real slick. And then to go in there and get obliterated. He put up a good fight, but he got stopped. He got stopped. And just the shit that came out when they was in the ring and he was looking for approval while they was in the ring. Not bad for somebody with 21 fights, huh? Just that shit is like, yo, bro. And he's still trying to come back from that. He's still trying to come back from, just make all, when Canelo lost to Beterbiev, and he went on that bullshit, and he just kind of like started, just like it was a victory for him that Bivol beat him. And he was really running his mouth. And it's like, bro, you do realize you got knocked out, right? But he's still, that's still a sort. I think he's in a place now where he's beginning to mature a little bit from that. He's in a place now where he's beginning to mature a little bit from that. And he's not as mouthy. He's a little bit more in tune with reality. But that shit still stings. That shit still stings. And they heard him calling him a cherry pick. Oh, he a cherry pick. He's a cherry. He ran from 160 to a weaker division and this and that and the third. He's a champion in that division that y'all are claiming to be weaker. He's hearing all these criticisms. And here you come saying the shit that you say. And we're expecting him to just, pull his punches with the shit that he has to say? No. Not at all. You gotta wear that, sweetheart. You gotta wear that. You gotta wear that. I'm not a fan of him calling her a bitch, because she never called him out of his name. But when you disrespect somebody in their in their respective profession, and I don't give a fuck who it is, most people are gonna they're gonna take that type of offense to someone discrediting them and what it is that they do. And she did discredit him in what it is that he does. You can't tell him how to react to that. You take everything into consideration that he's dealing with. They're expecting him to go in there and get, outlined in chalk by David Benavidez. And then after everything that happened with Canelo Alvarez, he just has a lot, that he's still fighting, even though he's showing signs of maturity. It's when you think about some shit that, from your past, I think they call it monkey brain. When you go into it just naturally, just natural impulses alone, you'll do something out of cat. Like if you're thinking about something and you come across something that you may be a bit embarrassed about, you'll do something, physically do something, your body gestures or whatever with your hand to kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like it's a coping mechanism with whatever it is you're thinking about that you may be somewhat uncomfortable with. I think he still goes through that. I think he still goes from them fights from 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. I think he still he fights with that. So for someone to speak on that, that's a sore spot. That's a sore spot. You gotta be, hey, you can have your opinion. I'm not mad at her for having an opinion, but all I'm saying is make sure when someone returns fire, you can deal with it. And I think she dealt with it. But you could tell her energy definitely dissipated when he got back on there and clapped at her. And that's usually what a lot of these people do when it comes with celebrities, man. They'll send a shot. Had he not responded, I guarantee you she would have went deeper with what she was saying. She would have felt comfortable enough to go deeper with what she was saying. She would have. She definitely would have. But the minute they come on the minute they, they address it and they retweet you and they respond to your tweet, you're not going to have the same energy unless you're just a savage motherfucker. Because some people are still of the mindset that I can't hide behind Twitter. So you presenting yourself on my tweet, that's quintessential to you actually being in my space, in the physical. So I'm not going to buck up at you, even though we're, we're separated through, probably hundreds of miles, of landmass. Some motherfuckers be like, I don't give a fuck you, this and that, and the 30, yada, 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 yada. Some people would, but most people was like, nah, the minute you come up in their space like that, it's like, I think I need to chill, pump my brakes. Because I don't have what it takes to deal with this individual. Physically. I don't. And I more than likely don't have anybody in my immediate family that has what it takes to deal with this individual. You dig? Y'all have to be really cautious about what y'all put into these spaces, man, because everybody is not gonna be the chivalrous type who's, nah. Niggas is gonna be like, you got me fucked up, bitch. Fuck you talking to. It's nothing worse than somebody telling you you're not any good at what it is that you do. And if you are, you all right. Caleb Plant is an exceptional talent. He's top in his division. We can say all we want that he's not. If Caleb Plant had knockout power, if he did what he did to Anthony Durrell in half of his fights, or the majority of his fights, he'd be a lot more respected, but he's not. And a lot of people don't have the eye and the patience for somebody who's really embodying the sweet science. The hit and don't get hit, the stick and move, you know what I'm saying? The astute counter punching, where you can find those little pockets and holes in somebody's offense when they got you backed into a space where what most fighters are uncomfortable at, which being the rope. You're still able to, you're still offensively minded and defensively minded enough to where you can catch the shot and shoot it back. That takes a lot of dexterity. That takes muscle memory, you dig? Like that, you have to work that into your game and to be able to do it at the highest level. So for somebody to tell you you're not really that good, our expectations of you is not that high, because of whatever it is that she said, they're gonna be offended by that. They're gonna be offended by that. And you just gotta make sure that you're not the one that they got in the scope when you make these, when you make these statements that people make. I'm not a fan of him calling her out of her name. I'm not. I'm honestly not. Because I feel like, with a daughter, unless she said something that was that extra out to you, where bitch was the only word to describe what it is she was saying or doing, then I don't condone you calling a woman out of her name. I don't that's never been my thing. Oh man, that's a bad bitch right there. Bitch has always been the highest form of disrespect in my eye, because my mother didn't tolerate that shit. Before we was born, my dad had that bad. And she told him, I will go about my separate ways if you do not stop calling me that. She didn't allow it. She did not allow it. And she downloaded that. She downloaded that bit of respect factor into me and my siblings. You don't call no woman out her name. It's highly disrespectful. So I don't condone that shit, but you also have to take into people's feelings into consideration. You have to do that. You have to do that. Because nobody wants to be disrespected for all of the work that they do. Caleb Plant is in the gym. He's a gym rat. And he worked his way up to fighting a pound for pound talent, a pound for pound number one fighter in the world. He did that. And now he's righting that wrong for waiting as long as he waited to jump up and do that. Now he's fighting the competition that he should have been fighting years ago. Now he's doing that. Better late than never, but it definitely should have been something he been doing. But I can't see over this truck. Shorty, you are killing me right now. You cannot turn down that. Okay. But he should have been doing that. He should have been doing that. Better late than never, though. Better late than never. He is an exceptional fighter. Everybody doesn't get to be, of all the thousands upon thousands of boxers, active boxers, not everybody gets to hold a strap. Not everybody makes title defenses after they gain that strap. Not everybody has success against the number one talented the number one fighter in the world, pound for pound. Not everybody has success. It took him 11 rounds to get Caleb Plant up out of there. So we have to give kudos and credence to that. So yeah, I'm not condoning or endorsing him calling her out of her name. I'll never be that dude, because I don't think what she said, required him to wild out the way that he did. I don't. I do not. I think it was wild, disrespectful. But you have to respect people's profession, and you have to respect the fact that the same way you have feelings, they got feelings. Their feelings are not mute and obsolete just because they're celebrities. These people aren't so high status that they're completely isolated away from social media. It ain't like these dudes that they control their social media. They don't have people to do that for them. They do that. Caleb Plant it's not like he's Kevin Durant. And even with Kevin Durant and Ja Morant, these dudes are like, I like to talk to the people. You dig? I want to be able to talk to the people. And as I'm talking to the people, I want to be respected. I want to be respected, because you more than likely wouldn't say what it is that you're saying online in my face. I'm almost positive you wouldn't do that. I'm almost positive you wouldn't do that. So it's just simply about respect, man. And if you're going to disrespect them, stand on your square. Keep the energy that you got when you say what you say to them online. Don't tuck your tail and get on some extra out shit. No, bang that shit. Rep that shit. You had all that smoke for a motherfucker. You had all that smoke. Let's go there. So that's what this is all about, man. Respect people's profession, and most of all, respect people's feelings. Respect that, because you're gonna want them to do the same to you. It's a dude on one of these posts, not posts, but on one of my groups, my boxing groups on Facebook, and he was wilding talking about somebody, and he's a ex-professional boxer, and one of the girls in the on that page started posting his boxing records, and I never even heard of this dude before, and it humbled him. And now, granted, he's a professional fighter. Your average motherfucker isn't gonna do an amateur bout. He's a professional fighter, but he never, he was just. It just didn't translate into the pros, and she posted that. Now, he didn't return the energy because it hit him. It hit him. Usually, when you sting somebody, they don't want that. They don't want you to keep cutting deep on them, so they'll kind of, they'll kind of waver and concede to, all right, cool, you got me. because I don't want you to keep digging into my backgrounds and hitting these sore spots. So he conceded to her. You gotta be mindful what you put on these spaces, bro. You gotta be mindful about what you put on social media, because a motherfucker, your average motherfucker ain't gonna they're not gonna stand for it. They're gonna rectify that shit, and when they rectify it, you gotta make sure that you can deal with it, which would include, getting called out of your name, or getting shit from the past, getting brung up to you and you presented to you to where everybody's laughing at you. It's embarrassing, man. And people do not like to be embarrassed. And it is embarrassing when professional athletes get their profession questioned and ridiculed and critiqued, and not constructive criticisms, harsh criticisms that you wouldn't say in a motherfucker face if they was right there, man. So just be mindful what you put on spaces, man. But I kind of want Plant to win, even as disrespectful as he was. That's what it is, man. Deuces.